Welcome to the show that gave the color purple a whole new meaning. That's right, folks. It's the second Marvel Netflix series, a show following a hard-drinking and hard-boiled private investigator with superhuman abilities as she combats her dark past returning to haunt her. This woman and this show is Jessica Jones. So join us as we start investigating Jessica Jones. Oh, yeah. All right, BlueDragonFive, good to be back. We're on Season 1, Episode 3, a.k.a. It's Called Whiskey. This was definitely the episode that really hooked me into the show. I mean, the first two episodes were good. This was the one where I was like, okay, you've got my attention. So let's not waste any time here. Let's kind of just jump through it, go through the basic plot.
Okay, so we start this episode. We see from the following the last episode, Luke and Jessica get to know each other better.
Oh boy! Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
Jessica hunts for. We see Jessica's hunt for sufentanil. The public's not buying into Hope's story, and which of course leads to needing more eyewitness accounts of Kilgrave's control.
Mm-hmm.
Jessica reaches out to Trish for assistance in kind of winning over the public. This ends up provoking Kilgrave in a really brutal way. By using Malcolm, Jessica is able to get sufentanil.
Oh man, that's one of the most heartbreaking scenes in the whole series.
Oh yeah, Trish is attacked by the Purple Man, more by his disciples, but in a really, again, horrific way, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Ultimately, Jessica manages to track down the Purple Man but after a struggle, he gets away. But he'll be back.
Oh yes, he will be. Yes, he will be. This
otherwise, there's no show.
The iceberg.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's start off with Jessica's journey.
So we see with Jessica in this episode, we start her off with like kind of a glimmer of hope with Luke Cage. It's like she's kind of distracted from all the crap she's going through right now. With there's another person with my abilities. Man, this is so weird. This is awesome. Like short of like a giant green guy in purple shorts, this is the closest thing I have to someone I can relate to.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just she's reminded of her role, but I mean, again, it's like she can't have a moment's worth of happiness, unfortunately. That's the tragedy of Jessica Jones. The minute she has some happy good times, she's reminded of her role in his wife's death. And of course, this motivates her drive to bring the Purple Man in.
For sure, and we get to see his wife's death kind of play out in a much more dramatic kind of way than before.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's very sad.
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Fine. Sure enough.
It has been punched all the way around. You hear like a little large crackly sound right there. Poor Reva. So young. So I had to edit that down, by the way, folks, because they really savor that moment. Again, each time they revisit the Reva death, because you gotta remember, this is what gave our character post-traumatic stress disorder. This is a huge thing, and ultimately, let's just say, it seems to be kind of the thing that kind of helped her get away from Kilgrave in the end.
For sure.
So I mean, it's a big moment. You can't just repeat go to the cat poster. Go to the cat poster. You can't just. You just can't go to it like you have it on file. You have to re-examine. It's kind of like a Breaking Bad thing where you kind of pick up where it left off. But like you've seen Tuco bring the twins in, but you got to see bring Saul in. But you have to see, it from the other side of the house. You got to get there. You got to arrive to it in a different way, which I think this show has done really well with all the Reva deaths.
Exactly. We see Jessica kind of start to take down her walls just a little bit in terms of Trish. We see her kind of start to form a little bit of a bond with Malcolm. That's very touching.
Oh, yeah. And, it's it's like she hears nothing but doubt, and that translates to when I say that, I mean she hears nothing but doubt in regards to Hope. Hope Schlotman. It's like everyone's saying, like you hear throughout the episode, it's really creatively done. I love how this is done. How it's like she's investigating, looking for the fentanyl and how to get her hands on it. She hears like we hear kind of like the radio interviews and everything of people saying, oh, and people calling you saying, I don't buy it. You have Son of Sam, you got all these guys. Like they're people in cults. They kill and they're saying, oh, it was the devil or something. You have all that go on there, which by the way I think it sounds a little something like this.
Oh,
like Jessica's thoughts on this matter.
What if the devil actually did make you do it? Even if you could prove it, would people ever forgive what you did? Could you ever forgive yourself?
Yeah, so with that, it's Jessica's like every door is being shut in her face on this in particular. She's like she hears nothing but doubt, which of course translates to life yet again, just kind of and people just kicking her while she's down. Like finally I got Dr. Karate. I convinced Jerry Hogarth to represent Hope Schlotman. It's going to be all aces now, and of course no, people don't buy into it. It's not like we have aliens invading New York or anything. Guy who can mind control people through speaking to them, that doesn't fly.
Right.
Of course, it's like she's hearing nothing but skepticism, which to her translates. I'm just assuming this, like, psychologically how it's affecting her. If like someone says no to something, it's like she can't really. She's focused on the no more than she's focused on the reasoning behind it. It's just like saying it's so obvious to her. It's just showing like how it's because she was controlled firsthand. It like shows you how frustrating that is to her.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Other than that, we get some great scenes of her kind of just trying to, like, we get some good humor of her, like, look, I need drugs.
Which is pretty funny. Of course, she's known as the town lush, essentially. She's like, booze is her drug. But they're saying, well, now you've upgraded. What gives?
I love the scene where she's confronting Wendy about getting the drugs, Hogarth's wife, and Wendy's just like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to support someone's like abusive habits.
Yeah, but you know what? With the whole the big thing with Jessica's character this episode with her journey is that she because of her experience with the Purple Man, obviously you wonder, okay, well, Hope Schlotman, she needs someone to testify. He's been under control, like another eyewitness, and obviously Jessica Jones would be prime candidate for that. But obviously, as we've gotten to know Jessica Jones for 2 episodes now, we get a sense that she's not going to be willing to do that. She doesn't want to put her business on Front Street. Very similar to Luke Cage, it's like her business.
Sure.
She really wants to avoid testifying, not just because of the fact she murdered someone, but of course that would be her prime example of the horrible thing she did. Mm-hmm. She's just she just does everything within her power to avoid testifying for Hope, which is why she's throwing herself into like getting that fentanyl just to get Kilgrave himself. She's not looking for the eyewitnesses. She's just trying to convince people of things with nothing, which again you emphasize with her why you understand completely. It's like it's kind of a real world parallel where it's women who don't want to bear out what happened to them when they were sexually abused.
Exactly.
Of course, it's kind of the undercurrent of the show, like women who have been, rape victims. That's what it is in many respects. And Jessica had her free will taken from her by someone who, I'm not saying she trusted him, but someone who she could not turn away from.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the main thematic elements of the show, and the show handles it in a very honest way, for sure.
It does, it's a broad kind of rape and human trafficking thing.
Right.
It's women who. They're kind of drawn back into the people, whether they like it or not. Even after they've left them, those memories are always just going to be burned in their memories.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so the idea, we see Jessica is trying not to she doesn't want. It's like she doesn't want to testify, but also working through her trauma on some level, which is something she's not ready to do yet as a character. Which is something it's again airing her stuff that she knows on some level. People, it's still not going to work out. People still aren't going to buy it, even if I testify. Then people are going to judge me, and I don't want those whispers around me.
Right.
Now she takes a risk. Now Jessica, at this point, that because of that desperation, because she's backed into a corner because she doesn't want to testify, she takes a risk with Trish that backfires big time. Again, the big thing, Jessica, it's been established 2 episodes now. She really doesn't want Trish in danger. She does care about Trish. Hence the reason she pushes her away, and that backfires big time by just giving Trish a little bit of rope. It ends up almost hanging her. And of course, as you mentioned with Malcolm, it's just she betrays her friend to take down Kilgrave, just showing you that in many respects she's just willing to do anything to take down Kilgrave.
I mean, it's tough, man. That scene is so tough to watch because it's like she's literally throwing people under the bus to kind of get to her objective. It's like
very poor choice of words, by the way.
Well, oh God. I'm sorry.
Just saying. I'm Reva shedding a tear right. Oh wait, never mind. Sorry, Luke Cage, don't kill me, please don't.
What do you fools say about buses?
He said it. See, I threw you under the bus just now.
Oh God. Oh God. Okay, enough with the bus throwing.
Okay.
Okay, anything else with Jessica?
Otherwise, you need to get a kidney doctor or something.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I think there's just a little bit left here. We get to see Jessica thinking on her feet and thinking fast to confront the old horrifying situation she's familiar with when we enter the house of the people controlled by Kilgrave.
Oh yeah.
And she knows, she's mentioning to them, look, I don't want to hurt you. Like, she knows this has happened to her before. Like, she knows how the mind control works, and she doesn't want to, because she's been mind controlled. She knows that she's still in there, and she doesn't want to do these things. Her body will not stop.
The show really does a good job of setting up the rules of the mind control. You know what I mean? How it works, how it functions.
Oh yeah, but Kilgrave has to be he exposits the pheromones, and it's also an audio thing. It's just
right.
If he is somewhat close to you in the room and there's pheromones in there and you can see him speak.
Oh.
Yeah. It doesn't work like a phone call. He's not that powerful yet. He can't do the phone call.
Not yet.
We'll see. Okay, let's see. So, old horrifying situation. I like the idea Jessica's thinking on her feet in a situation. She's thinking fast in that scene. Like, she's going around there, she's trying to knock people out as quickly as she can because she knows she's familiar with them.
Right.
Let's see. She again, by the end of this episode, she realizes how in danger she really is of pushing people away, and how taking that one risk is just gonna ruin everything around her now.
Mm-hmm.
By the end, she really realizes how obsessed the Purple Man is with her. Again, we see the big room reveal.
Oh yeah. Oh, certainly. That reveal was one of the big things that drew me in. Okay, this show is something special.
That was something that's really well done in the marketing, by the way, just showing the wall of Jessica.
Right. I mean, I knew that was in the show, but just the way that it plays out within the actual context of the episode is just shocking.
And by the end of this episode, they really kind of, with the moment this episode ends on, that connects to the picture thing, is that the idea that Purple Man can control anyone, and obviously he got those pictures from somewhere. So the idea of anyone on the street, because Kilgrave's abscess, he's controlling people just to take pictures of Jessica Jones, where they could easily shoot her or something, but he wants to watch her. And anyone around her could be the person taking these pictures, and he's constructed these large collages. He's out of his mind, this Purple Man. And by the end, she's just severing ties to protect other people, as we see with Luke Cage, and that's it all. Really.
Okay, that's good. That's a good transition into the Purple Man's progression. Jessica.
So we get a little glimpse into what the Purple Man's planning with all those photographs. Is that the idea that he is biting? I got a sense that at this point in the series, he's buying his time and moving from location to location. Because I think it's a different location. I think otherwise he did something horrible to that family. If it's the same location, because we don't see him. I'm going to assume he's just going location to location. The idea the plan at this point is to wear Jessica down and get her to remember the past, because that's why he's that's why Hope Schlottman was sent to him. It's an anniversary. It's to remind her of you and me together.
Sure.
Get her thinking of old events and basically wear her down to a point of desperation, so then the Purple Man can talk to her. That's the idea. And, he's surprised because he didn't plan on her finding him. So she wasn't leading a trail to him exactly. He was just wearing her down. That's the plan. Because then he is very surprised by how close she got to him.
That's such a great moment of acting on David Tennant's part the first time he sees her. And he's just like, oh, okay. I am not ready for this right now.
I love that he's still in control though. He just gives us a little look.
Oh yeah, he's totally in control, but he is not ready to deal with this shit at the same time.
And I love that he's like behind glass too. And of course, we're gonna see how that pays off.
Mhm.
I love seeing him behind glass, just looking at her. He's in like a protective state at that moment of like, she's on the outside. She can see him, and she's that close to him. And in theory, wouldn't be controlled by him at that point. It's still just like, oh, he's so close. I can just like reach to the glass and strangle him.
Right.
But I love this moment where he just like looks. He acts with the eyes. Tennant's so good at that sort of thing. He just looks at her and says, "Hey, behind you." It's great. Just so in control still, so confident. And then he, of course, he makes the ultimate exit. Even has time to scribble down, "Hey, see you soon." Points to Kilgrave on that one.
Oh yeah.
And again, we see obviously he doesn't care who he hurts because again, he's like telling people just to do whatever off the side of the building, which we're going to get into a little later there.
Yeah, I mean, I think progression is the right word for it because Kilgrave really does have a progression throughout the whole series in terms of like just how mass scale his Kilgraving is, his mind control is, and can reach, and just how much he doesn't give a fuck about who he hurts.
And to be honest with you, I think the progression overall, without giving too much away, but without getting too into it, I should say, is that I think Kilgrave's ultimate progression is going to, it leads to him like realizing the value in human emotion, in that as an additional thing he can manipulate to make his actions more cutting, more hurtful.
Right.
But he's just treating them like objects right now. I think later on, once he factors in the human emotion or the meanings behind who he's controlling, then it's going to get a lot worse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's Birdman's progression.
Okay, let's get into the Alias alliances. Oh, BlueDragonFive, I think Jessica Jones and Luke Cage made a pretty strong alliance. Am I right?
Yeah, we see their physical.
Go wow. I'm sorry.
Well,
Apparently, I'm still a sophomore in high school. Apparently.
Oh yeah. So we see Luke and Jessica. They're getting very physically acquainted.
This was like the big scene that the media just instantly latched onto, and not in a negative way either. Just kind of like, oh my god, look how shocking and daring Jessica Jones is. Like, look at this sex scene.
Yeah. I mean, it's the first Marvel show with I want to say I'm trying to think if Daredevil had a kind of sex scene exactly.
I don't think so.
They had the post-coital thing. They didn't really have sex.
Right.
So yeah, I'm gonna say it's the first sex scene in a Marvel anything really.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, well, again, Iron Man has started out. Didn't really.
Yeah.
Again, you never really saw the action. You always get it's the censorship thing. You usually get the beginning and end. You never get the middle.
Sure.
It's like on television too. Television, nowadays, just they throw it out the window on Fox. I don't know what happened there, but. And Family Guy is really trailed off because of that, but I'm not going to get into that rant right now. Point is, usually it's like you have all these limitations of like you can't have movement, like you can't have gyrations of any kind.
Mm-hmm.
But here we got full gyrations pretty much.
Oh boy. And bed breaking and walls cracking and all kinds of fun going on.
Bending some pipe, not that way.
But in all seriousness, no, we will get to this in my heroic sandwich moment, but I just love the bond that forms between Jessica and Luke.
Yeah, there's a really great chemistry they have. Again, it's the big thing with their dynamic at this point. It's like they're at a place where they've realized they have powers, and it's like, at last, another, that sort of thing. It's like, at last, another person. Not the Thor thing, like another, just at last, another person.
Another!
Well, that's essentially what they might as well be saying to each other, because what periodically happens. It may want to do that. No, actually, you might as well just say another because everything.
Water.
No, seriously, might as well say another with these guys. I mean, let's just say that Luke Cage is a very virile man.
Oh yeah.
Again, might be the superpowers, might not be. I don't know. I'm not his doctor. I can't tell you. But the point is, I love their conversations after their post-coital conversations. Those are really great. But particularly, I love the idea that they're outside of Luke Cage's apartment, they're having this really nice conversation. Let me play a little bit of that conversation for you. I just love them kind of getting to know each other through these these conversations, like next to the food truck. Yeah, I love it. It's a food truck too. It feels so real world. Play a little bit right here.
The hero just goes talking to you back.
Been there, done that.
The hero gig?
I gave it a shot once.
Tell me there was a costume. You still got it.
Didn't work out.
You still get points for doing that.
Not near enough to cancel out the map.
Way I see it, most people got both in a row. Just depends on which one wins that day.
Yeah, I mean I love just that whole whole conversation like about heroics and the idea of Luke Cage that he's out for himself, but he'll help when it's convenient for him. It's like not going. He won't go out of his way to be heroic because, again, as he mentioned, paints a target on his back. I love the conversation of heroics between these two.
Definitely.
That was one of my highlights with their relationship this episode.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the moment they get, and the idea that we're going to see repeated throughout with their relationships, the moment they get close, something pulls them apart. Mainly that reoccurring thing being Riva.
Right.
Understandably so, because again, I mean, it's oddly enough the thing that bonds them eternally together is such a dark thing that it's going to keep them apart. It's like the Romeo and Juliet of Marvel relationships.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay,
so I guess let's go to Jessica and Malcolm.
Malcolm. All right, like I said, man, this is it's really tough because Malcolm is such a sympathetic character.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Malcolm is, don't get me wrong, man. When I say innocent, I don't mean completely innocent because he is shooting up. But again, we'll see there's more to it than seemingly.
Oh yeah.
His point is, he's kind of the I love this, like, he's an innocent friend of hers that she feels many times kind of compelled to defend. She's always like, she doesn't like yell at Malcolm a lot. Just like tells him like, you're high. You're just like, she always says that stuff. There's the idea she kind of looks out for Malcolm. That's the thing right from the first episode. I really love the idea. Okay, she has kind of this wacky neighbor that kind of wanders, like her Kramer essentially.
Oh God.
Wanders
like a real life Kramer, where it's like, okay, if a Kramer would actually like act like this in real life, there'd be kind of some issues in regards to him.
Yeah, and he wanders into random apartments and eats peanut butter. That's his thing. That's what he does. I just love the idea. Like she knows. Well, he doesn't mean any ill will by it. He does that, and he's kind of a helpless guy. You got to help him out. Again, and that shows, and of course, by the end of the series, you're going to find he is kind of the guy kind of aiming her more towards heroics. He is kind of that kind of cheerleader in many respects.
Sure.
I mean, he's also kind of that supports, like the only friend she has, really. The only kind of friend she really has, is barely a friend, just someone she helps out on a regular basis, who becomes a friend, don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it makes that scene really heartbreaking. And here's what I love. I love the level that's added to this, Tiki. It's the idea that she ends up using him as a diversion against his will, very much like Kilgrave does with his victims.
Yeah, it's some good foreshadowing to kind of like what Kilgrave's up to.
Yeah, just the idea that it's like Jessica becoming her worst enemy for a moment there, is showing like how maybe like Kilgrave she is in some aspects.
Exactly.
Okay, so I guess next would be Jerry Hogarth and then Jessica.
Okay, not much here. I guess the main thing is kind of like Hogarth needing to kind of prop up the public defense of Hope. Kind of like the whole, like we said, the media is really kind of slandering into this girl.
Yeah. Let me just say this. I mean, I still like Hogarth as a character at this point, but I'm just saying she's really doing some deceitful, underhanded things.
Oh, yeah. She essentially sets Hope up to be kind of like a mentally ill client against Hope's own will.
Yeah, that's not right.
Yeah.
Let's just say, I'm puzzled to how they're going to make Jerry work in the Iron Fist show. She is going to be a fixture of that show because she's the one who oversees Danny Rand's estate. She has a big role in the.
I imagine she's a little bit different than how you pictured her in the comics at this point.
Well, first of all, she's a man in the comics.
Well, yeah, of course.
But I mean, I would hope that she might come around a little more on the Iron Fist show. Like you can more of a, I'm not going to say nice character, but a nicer character.
Right.
But we'll see where that goes. Point is, Jerry here we see again. She's in a position of just like, importantly, again, paralleling the Purple Man and paralleling what Jessica did for that moment there, where she's acting like Kilgrave. Jerry Hogarth, at many points, acts like Kilgrave in the series, which, of course, is going to backfire for her in the grand scheme. She has knowledge about Jessica Jones that intrigues her. You know, the idea that she knows that Jessica was controlled by the Purple Man just gives her that look of like, you know, I know something about you. You really love having something over me, don't you? Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. The way this actress portrays Jerry Hogarth just plays her just like she's not show offy, but you know, like she's just like always so cruel. You know, always just so cutthroat, businessy.
Right, right.
And again, we see she does whatever it takes to win. And what that says, like, it's like you have the best attorney in the world. What that means is they're the best attorney in the world, which means they can't really have a heart in many aspects. So like she figures, okay, I'll do whatever it takes to get my client out of the situation, even if it's like telling them they're cuckoo.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you know, Hope is then basically she allows Hope to go in the radio interview saying, "Oh, as you can see here in this detailed account, my client is absolutely insane. Just, the lights are on, but nobody's home."
Again, very much kind of a throwing under the bus kind of situation.
Yes, very, very powerful metaphor in this show.
I know, right?
Yeah, again, and that's the thing with Jerry's character. We're going to see continue on through her stories that she's willing to do whatever it takes. She doesn't matter who she hurts, which again is very similar to the Purple Man. Is that, you know, he's treating people like objects, and Jerry sees them as chess pieces. You know, whatever it takes to win.
Which is why when Jerry and the Purple Man eventually meet, it's kind of epic.
Yeah, but again, the reasonings for some of the stuff that happens there bugs me. But
I know.
And along the journey, it's a long journey to that point, folks.
Oh yeah.
Okay, let's see. I guess next we should get to another person that might kind of take a turn towards the dark side.
Will Simpson.
Yeah, Will Simpson.
You know, the principal of my high school was named Will Simpson.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not even kidding.
Did he attack blonde women with radio shows?
No. He was like this cool kind of like hippie-ish older guy.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure. BlueDragonFive.
All right. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Simpson is very much like an up and down character for me. He's very much a mixed bag. Even after watching the whole show, I'm still not really sure what to make of him overall.
No, I think I think Simpson's pretty. I like what they did with I think he's pretty safe with what they did with his character. I think that, you know, setting him up the way they did, I think they did smart moves with Simpson.
I think the thing that really kind of caught me off guard, and we're not going to get into this for a while, but just the whole like the drug steroid type storyline, I thought that was a little out of left field and a little wonky.
That's with his character from the comics. So that's what happens to him.
Sure. What I'm saying is that it just wasn't integrated into the show all that well, at least in my opinion.
Well, I'll admit, I mean, that aspect I think was fine. But I think the aspect of like building up his big military background was shoehorned in. I'll give you that one. Like,
yeah,
left and right. It's like just out of nowhere. One episode just mentions that, you know, he has like black ops contacts or something like that. You know, he has like military black op guys he knows. It makes a big deal out of like, oh, they're my boys. It's like, you know, Simpson, we barely know you. Okay, you got to introduce him or something. All right,
exactly.
Just don't randomly say like go all nutso with, hey, I got boys, I got black op buddies.
I do very much like the dynamic that Jessica has with this guy right off the bat, because even though he's kind of like, you know, trying to murder Jessica's best friend and everything like that, she still feels sympathy for him.
Yeah, and you know, she does what she can to snap him out of Kilgrave's control there. Like, sure. You know, she says, again, I love Jessica being smart, knowing how Kilgrave operates. They're like showing, okay, the only way you're gonna possibly snap this person out is convince them they did the deed. Right.
It's so clever the way she goes about that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And also, and again, the kindness that Jessica's trying to pay Simpson here is that she is, of course, we're going to see that Simpson's a guy he can't let it go, which, of course, is his major character flaw. He can't let things go.
Sure.
Is that, you know, she tries to spare him the PTSD that she has by saying, no, everything's fine, nothing happened, everything's good. Yeah, because, you know, she basically she tries to spare him being haunted by what he did, because of course that's ultimately going to happen to him. He's going to be very haunted by what he did.
Yeah.
She's trying to spare him, not saying, hey, look, everything's fine, just go back to what you're doing. Everything. No one's dead.
Right.
Speaking of someone who's not dead.
Oh, let's get to Trish. Yeah.
Patsy.
Okay. Oh god.
Oh, yeah. So
I just really missed your red hair.
I feel really bad for that guy.
I know.
That poor guy. But you know what? He I don't know, the way he approached it, though, it was a little...
Yeah. Okay, so
Listen.
Trish is very much. I think this is like the start of a really, really cool story arc for Trish.
It was almost as sad as the pants guy from Hey Arnold, like the karate
God.
episode of Hey Arnold. There's, I just want to change. I want to know what the next boss was.
Oh God.
Remember that guy?
Yes, I remember that guy.
Okay,
Okay,
so,
but, so I love this whole idea of Trish kind of like making her apartment into a fortress, and I love kind of this whole idea of her training and everything. It's very much kind of like a good kind of stepping stone into her being a hero in her own right eventually.
She becomes Hellcat, which I read the first issue of that comic they put out recently. I love the art on it. It's really good.
Cool.
Anyway, so speaking of people who are just doing what they can, she does what she can, does what is in her power to help Hope. With the with the personal stake that she has with Jessica, of course, that kind of turns things sideways, so to speak. She's willing to help Jessica, and that okay, I'll have Hope on the show. I'll show the people that she's not crazy. We'll get some support going for her. Okay, she's willing to help, and of course, then when Jerry just kind of tries to manipulate the situation, then Trish gets defensive, and then she has to figure some way out of it. Then she just figures, I'm going to insult the Purple Man, which is a big mistake, folks. Big mistake.
Don't insult the Purple Man. Don't do it.
Or else he's going to call the radio station, and he's going to do something like... Get into it. He's going to do something like, I guess, hopefully this.
Trish, I want to applaud your courage in almost being a hero to the downtrodden. Self-preservation be damned. It's admirable, but my question is really is a man with the abilities you described. Someone who could make anyone, anywhere, do whatever he wanted them to do. Seems to me that insulting him would be wildly dangerous. Let's just say it, stupid in the extreme. Everyone has feelings, even, how do you put it, sadistic, corrosive. I don't know, maybe you kill yourself. Worse. I'll take my answer off the air.
Thankfully, his abilities, again, do not reach through the phone. Otherwise, many people across the globe who are listening to this would have killed themselves.
But it's a good kind of foreshadowing to where his powers eventually go, though.
Oh, yeah. But still, you do not want to mess with Purple Man. He's going to call your radio station ominously. It's not good. Seriously, that was a terrifying moment when he calls. Again, so basically she was like calling him impotent and all these other things, like saying, oh, he's such a sad little man. Just like such a...
what would have just topped it all off?
What?
Is if you would have been like, oh, and by the way, while I'm on the phone, can you please play Purple Haze? I love that song.
Oh boy. Anyway, so point is, yeah, Trish makes miscalculation because of her ties to Jessica, which again is Jessica's main fear there. So that relationship, her personal stake in things with Jessica, she's saying, as Jessica's begging her, no, stop. You don't want to insult him on the air like that.
Sure.
He's listening. He says, well, then why? I should stand by and let him terrify you and be such a bad guy. Again, she's standing up for Jessica, which is admirable, but again, very stupid with what you're saying on there to a serial killer, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it puts her in grave danger, which again is resulting in her being a poor autograph guy.
Oh God.
And I really do feel bad for that guy. And again, what's so interesting and well constructed about that is that then you have some actual tension of like, okay, well, she would have to face some charges potentially, by the guy, and that makes Simpson's story credible when he's at her door.
Right.
And again, I love the idea, though, she's still ready. She has like the baton out there. And of course, it's the fear realized where Simpson is fighting Trish. And Trish is trained in fighting very well, but still early in her career here. And Simpson is, well, as we find out, he's got a little more to him than we would imagine. So he's really strong.
Mm-hmm.
I got to wonder, when people are getting knocked around in these fight scenes, I got to wonder how much of that is just them not getting knocked out naturally, or the Purple Man's control keeping them awake a little more than they would be. Because when people get knocked down, in theory they would be knocked out, but they keep getting up, you know?
I think the Purple Man's influence definitely has to have a role in that. I don't necessarily think it gives them super strength or anything like that.
No, not strength. I'm just saying like durability.
Maybe like endurance. Yeah, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's like I guess they're not giving up. That's the thing? It's like
yeah, exactly. It's like their body is just prone to like kind of just keep doing what they're meant to do until they physically can't anymore.
Yeah, like adrenaline's pumping so they can stay
Exactly.
awake longer or something like that. I'm getting a sense of that's what's going on because in theory, like Simpson gets like knocked out by Jessica Jones like 3 times. He keeps getting up.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. God's hand. Of course, she's very now. I rewatching this. I did notice a few new things with Trish here with her characters. That she's very self-defense obsessed, as we can tell with her room. First of all, a really neat thing that's been established here. I didn't catch at all is the idea that Jessica, I guess, before her ordeal with the Purple Man, she lived with Trish in that room that she's converted to the fighting room.
Right, right.
Which is very sweet, just showing Trish. Essentially, they're sisters, folks. That's the idea, and they're very, very chummy, very close together.
Mm-hmm.
Which is really neat, just them seeing that in that early on is just showing like the connection they had, but also Trish, she's battered and bruised from all the training, and she's all purple with bruises. Ooh, symbolism. No, it's fun. It's kind of clever. Jessica says, "Oh, you'll be purple with bruises."
Yeah.
But no, but seriously, the idea that she says no one lays a hand on me unless I say so, that leads me to think that she is either it's referring to her abusive mother, as Jessica says, is your mother back in town or something? Either is referencing the abusive mother or an abusive ex-boyfriend that might have hit her. I'm just saying to something that spawned the self-defense, but of course, in addition to that, you have Jessica Jones having super strength and her growing up around that.
Right, right.
Of wanting something close to having super strength,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
A lot of levels.
All right, let's get into some top shelf stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So, of course, we got that. One of my favorite aspects of this, as I mentioned before, I love the real world kind of cult and crazy killer parallels, because there always are people questioning. It was a real conversation there being had about Hope Schlottman, like asking, should we pardon a person because they were abducted by a cult and they say they killed someone because of Manson or they killed someone because of the devil? I mean, is that an excuse? I mean, could you just give that pass to everyone? There's legitimate questions to be raised, and something that would be raised. You have Purple Man killings going on around.
Yeah, obviously we already mentioned the whole Luke Cage and Jessica sex scenes are kind of stuff that's a little groundbreaking for Marvel.
Oh yeah. I gotta tell you, it's not that I think it's bad or anything. I'm saying it was something to get used to at first because it was something new. You really.
I was expecting it going in because I was already reading like all these articles, like, oh, Jessica Jones is the hottest thing that Marvel's ever put out.
I mean, I expected her and Luke Cage to get intimate, but I didn't expect it to be that intimate.
Right.
I was expecting to see like the post-coital thing like we did with Kingpin. I expected that much. Like, okay, there's gonna be they're kissing, then the next morning, okay, let's talk. That sort of thing, but
just kind of generally, just how Purple Man's powers keep developing, and how now we really get a sense of like, okay, like he needs to be in the same room as them. As we said, it's a good kind of like building the dynamics of it.
Oh yeah. Again, one of my favorite things is rewatching these is really kind of hitting home. This is such a brilliant idea. It's just this idea of the reluctant heroics. Again, Luke Cage and Jessica's conversation really epitomizes that. And the idea of Jessica, she just wants to keep people away. She does not want to get involved in things, but she keeps getting involved in things because of the Purple Man and the damage she's causing.
Sure.
And it's something that, and also like failed heroics too. The idea she tried the heroic thing and it didn't work out for her. Of course, it's going to be explored further down the line. That being established here, though.
I'd say failed heroics is kind of like one of the big cornerstones of the show's themes,
and that was a big thing in their origin too, that you tried being a hero and ended horribly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see. So so there's the idea of this lingering consequence, which is something really powerful about the show. The idea after you controlled by the Purple Man gets, obviously we saw that with Hope. The lingering consequence. Jessica is a walking epitome of that, and walking But also we get a taste of that with Simpson here. You know,
We
Simpson,
do.
of course,
We
the
do.
lingering consequences are just going to be explored a lot more next episode. So that
Mhm.
idea of lingering consequences all over this series, it's starting to really come around this place with everyone else. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
Penthouse battle was awesome. You know, with the family in the penthouse.
Oh yeah. Oh
Very
yeah.
cool. Like all those levels. That was a really nice house.
Mhm.
Again, they're not shying away from the sex scenes. Something I really liked was that they're populating Hell's Kitchen with interesting characters, kind of like what was built in Daredevil. That Foggy Nelson, all the people in the bar, and they're all
Oh yeah.
wacky
Oh yeah.
characters, and we get to see those guys. And for example, one of my favorite examples of just kind of some wacky yet lovable characters. In the last episode, I played it while you were gone for a moment there, but I played the mechanic guy tells her where the hospital is. Remember, like, rude lady equals lonely lady. I'm counting on it. That line. But I also love the door repairman here. He goes something like this.
Because I care about the place.
All right.
I can
Yeah, here we go.
Want to skip this? How much have you guys seen? My father says this is our business, not a charity for women.
Just fix the goddamn door. I'll cover it.
We start tomorrow.
Be on time.
I just love these wacky door guys.
I feel like the door repairman could just make a sitcom on their own.
Yeah, it's just like just populating Hell's Kitchen with all these interesting characters.
Okay. Anything else?
Let me see. I mean, they're really selling and lamenting the Kilgrave flashback moments, as I mentioned in the Nexus before, so won't get more into that. The last thing, again, the set design with the pictures, the picture reveal was
Oh my god!
such a great shot, such a great set piece.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's all I got for Top Shelf. You got anything?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, let's move on to the heroic sandwich moment of the episode. Yeah.
Pass the mayo.
BlueDragonFive, my heroic sandwich moment of the episode is Jessica Jones giving Luke Cage a sweet Christmas.
May I?
Yes, please.
Let's let the man speak for himself.
Sweet Christmas.
No, in all seriousness, I mean, that's just an awesome line, obviously, and an awesome delivery, and they couldn't have, worked that line in any better way, but...
Yeah, well, they do another really great way of working that line in later on, though.
Sure.
But, I think for Luke Cage is a man for which Christmas comes more than once a year.
Oh, yeah. But,
in some cases, a daily occurrence. In his case, 4 times a day.
I just, in all seriousness, we could joke and we could, even kind of, just admire how risky the sex scenes are, but I still think at the end of the day, the Luke Cage and Jessica Jones dynamic is a very sweet one. It's very much like these two broken people kind of finding each other, and in that way, I do very much kind of think that Jessica is kind of in her own way, kind of very heroic with Luke, because she knows the ramifications of getting close to this person, but she can't help but let it in, and she knows that they need each other. And so I think...
Your best of phrasings.
What?
Never mind, go on.
I screwed you.
That might not be your best of phrasings.
Okay, well now you're just making me self-conscious, so thanks.
Well, you
Thanks.
said let it in, man. That's the...
Thanks, BlueDragonFive, thanks. Just move on to your moment now.
Okay.
Now I refuse to talk about this anymore.
Okay, now you're guilting me into it, so I'll let you finish your thought. Go on.
No. I'm pretty much done.
I'll wait here if you don't say it.
Oh my god. No, I'm done. Seriously, that's mostly all I have to say. It's just kind of a nice little thing that the two people found each other.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. So my heroic sandwich moment is it's a real subtle bit. It's a real simple bit. I love it when she rushes to Malcolm's defense. And again, just showing it again when we kind of go for these heroic sandwich moments, or again with the reluctant hero idea of this series, the idea Jessica is kind of compelled to do something heroic, where it's just it's in her DNA. She has to, even though she logically doesn't really care.
Sure.
On that night, she convinces herself she doesn't care, but obviously her conscience, she really does care. Let me just try to Should be it. So basically, there's this, I guess, like a bike messenger or something. It's New York after
The
all.
most self-righteous prick in the world. Like,
Actually,
oh my God.
Actually, no, he's not a bike messenger. So, like, you're right. He's a self-righteous prick of some variety. He's the guy who personally owns a bike. He's not like a bike messenger or anything. So,
Right.
Guy runs by, like, I guess he trips or falls on the bike, and because Malcolm's like wandering in the streets, because he does that, and the guy's just letting him have. He's just not letting him say. Malcolm said he was sorry. Which, yeah.
First of all, I like how the guy just calls Malcolm Requiem for a Dream.
That was pretty funny. And it goes a little something like this, just kind of the follow up to him just like, you say you're sorry. Oh, you're sorry. Something like this.
I can't one clerk to catch Kilgrave.
Sorry.
So what did you turn your moronic head? Get it. Your real gift to humanity. Pilates. You might just
Person Jessica Jones.
you're high.
I just love, on a subtle level, I really like it. I just love that it's such a Peanuts delivery of at the end there between Malcolm and Jessica Jones. Like it's like a TVMA Peanuts of some kind. It's just like saying, you're a good person, Jessica Jones. Oh, you're high.
Oh, shut up, Linus. You're high.
Seriously, it's like such a nice sentiment coming from kind of the moral center there. It's just, it's like Lucy and Linus. You're right. It's just, like Lucy. Oh, shut up! It's like the Great it's the TVMA version of the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown ending.
Right, exactly.
Lucy brings him in and he takes his shoes off and everything. You're a good person, Lucy. Oh, shut up, Linus. You're high.
How much weed did you smoke out there in that pumpkin patch? You were out there a long time.
All right, I'm uncomfortable going further.
All right.
Okay, the point is, though, I like that she did, she feels compelled to help Malcolm. Again, it's because she is very heroic, and I love that Malcolm actually is speaking the truth, that you are a good person, Jessica Jones, but she doesn't believe it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Which is nice. Again, just being that kind of uncompromised moral center in many aspects.
Sure. Okay. So now let's move on to Kilgrave's command.
He commands it.
All right, so both our commands of the episode kind of have to do around the Simpson character. So it's kind of like a two-parter in that way. So my command is just Simpson being ordered to kill Triss in the first place. And I really like how this whole scene kind of plays out. Like you said, it's like it was a very good kind of tension-building thing where you had the fan bumping into Trish, and it was a great comic relief bit, especially where the fan is like half knocked out, but he's trying to tell her about the red hair bit.
I feel really bad that he didn't get she didn't get the sign. I think she was going to sign the comic, but then it's like she took the pen and says, I'm sorry, I gotta go.
Oh God!
Like she couldn't give me any free swag or anything,
But like you said, that's a very clever thing for the Purple Man to kind of like use against Trish in terms of like, like I would like to think that guy just didn't press charges, oh, it's Patsy, come on, I can't press charges against Patsy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
that's the thing. It's a ploy. It's like he arms Simpson with that information. Now, here's a question though. Here's an interesting question. Did the Purple Man control that guy to bump into her?
I don't know. It could be any number of things. It could be that. It could just be that the Purple Man had people kind of like stationed around the area to watch her.
Well, you know what that means, don't you? If he did, assuming he controlled that guy, that would mean that Purple Man was in the building when that broadcast was going on.
Very true. Very true.
It's terrifying. It's some potential added dimension, which would explain why Simpson has the knowledge that he does, if that was the case. A little something to bear in mind. But either way, I just like the idea he's an innocent guy. Just go, oh, poor guy.
But yeah, as you mentioned, Simpson just totally uses that information, gets Trish to open the door. And I really love how this kind of like plays out where Jessica is very, very smart, where she kind of like, she knocks Trish out and she kind of fakes that Trish is dead. That's such a good moment right there.
It is very clever. Again, it's her knowing how Simpson's minds work under control.
Mm-hmm. So again, I think this is kind of like one of the first real bits we get of like the foreshadowing of how elaborate the Purple Man's powers are and just kind of the rules of them and how the mind is not going to be satisfied until it thinks that it's accomplished its task.
Oh yeah.
So really, really good kind of setup there, and it sets up perfectly into your moment.
Yes, it does. So, of course, after Simpson's so pleased with himself, I did what the Purple Man asked me to. Hooray! Well, not as happy-go-lucky as that, but just indulge me, if you
Not
will,
quite as
folks.
happy-go-lucky.
Just indulge me, you know.
Hmm.
As Tiki enjoys his baking water there. But so as Simpson leaves for the elevator, Jessica Jones plants a cell phone or something on so she can track him.
Mhm.
Anyway, so this leads her cleverly. Again, I love her using the PI tactics to get things done. Tracks Simpson to Kilgrave's current penthouse address. Jessica's like on top of the thing examining. I finally found Jen. And basically, Simpson's relaying the news that okay, Trish is dead. Oh yes, well you know that Patsy Walker. It's a shame. I kind of like the show.
Oh, the show was rubbish. I love that. I love Purple Man. That's one of the fun things about Purple Man is that he's an evil bastard, and yet he still takes the time to like get into like common pop culture. Like, you know, he'll be really invested in a football game, or
Like
he'll
that.
actually know the quality of the Patsy show and have an opinion on it.
Yeah, like this.
Here's your lunches. Don't just take it all the time, you ginger twat.
But okay, back to the moment. This basically, you know, Simpson's relaying the information, and of course, we know Kilgrave's kind of prone to after he comments on the show. Oh, okay, well, if she's out of the way, get a little something like this. As Jessica thinks she's all happy. Oh, okay, I'm gonna plan my move. I'm gonna pounce on him. You know, like throw him around the room a little bit. As she's planning that, some bad stuff happens with Simpson and this.
Leave.
So uninterested.
Go that way, officer.
Take the long way
That
down.
way. No.
And again, there's Jessica Jones in a heroic position where she knows she has to save the guy.
Mhm.
And again, that in doing so, completely compromises her advantage on Kilgrave. Again, the heroic sacrifice, folks.
Mhm.
So yeah, so I love that. It's with Kilgrave's commands. It's like something he's just watching the football game. He says, "Okay, leave." He could have just let the guy leave, and it would have been fine. But no, I wonder if it's on some level Kilgrave is strategically playing that out of like, well, I can't have any witnesses or someone under my control live, or if it's just him like, I don't care. I want to hear this guy's body splat while the horn blows on the game. Yeah, I don't care. I mean, the guy's up putts. I don't care about him. Just let him die. It'll be fun. Just let him walk at the Miranda and fall.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, that's all I got for Kilgrave.
Okay. All right, so let's move on to our penultimate segment here, the alleyway evidence.
So obviously Trish is still training, and that training came in handy. Well, not as much as she would have hoped, but it came in handy at first.
Also came as a little bit of an hindrance in some cases.
It did. Of course, the security system that being set up.
Oh yeah.
The Patsy comic, which I was really happy by the way, because you know what I mean. I love it when they work in the comics into the Marvel universe. So the idea that it's like a Captain America has the comics when it was like propaganda for him.
Mm-hmm.
And here, Patsy, of course, she was a child star in the comics, so that's how they're working the comics into real life. So there's a Patsy Walker comic, and basically it was like, I guess it was something like kind of a cross between Archie and Little Orphan Annie. Essentially, that's again the sense that's what it was. Like it was like a teen, like an Archie style teen comic, but also kind of like a Little Orphan Annie hook of like it's just one girl. That's my guess, but it was a teen romance comic. Which again, given all Stanley's interviews, him mentioning that they would write in the downtime between when the superhero comics were being looked at by Wortham and they're kind of dying off for a while, they would write romance comics and westerns and all these other comics, and he would write those. It kind of reminds me of that a little bit. Mm-hmm. And the idea, there was a comic, there was a show. I mean, the Patsy Walker was basically being milked for all she was worth by her mother.
It was pretty much like a Miley Cyrus type of situation from what I got.
Yeah, but again, I don't really know. I don't really care to know anything about Miley Cyrus more than I ever have to. But I understand like her father's a lot cooler than Patsy's mom.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, kind of like the whole. I think Disney in general is kind of like the evil force in that story.
Yeah. Let's see. Of course, Simpson is set up here. Of course, his position is set up that he was controlled by the Purple Man, and he
Sure,
regrets his
sure.
actions. The Reva death scene, as we mentioned, that's continuing on. Sufentanil is definitely Jessica Jones in the sacrifice of Malcolm. There, she got her hands on the Sufentanil, so she is now armed with the Purple Man's weakness.
And just kind of like the whole idea that people are following around and watching Jessica from every angle, and there's no escape from it, essentially.
Oh yeah. The Malcolm betrayal, which is going to come back. We're going to see how that picks up. Malcolm
Sure.
feeling very betrayed. A sobering moment, one could say. Let's see. So we see Trish's battle with Simpson, which we're going to definitely get back to that one with. We're going to see where that takes them, like how their relationship's going to flourish, perhaps.
Oh yeah.
Kind of an odd relationship starter. Of like,
It's a very, very odd relationship.
You tried to kill me. You hit me with a baton. That sort of stuff.
As you do, as those cute kids do. When
It was
they
the
get
story
together.
of a lovely lady
Oh God.
who almost was killed by a cop.
Okay. All right. Anything else for the alleyway?
The pictures of Jessica are definitely going to come into the story big time. Because
Oh yeah.
Purple Man loves his pictures of Jessica Jones.
Mm-hmm.
And also, there's something set up on all those little radio chats. I love Kilgrave being set up as the devil. It works kind of like how Daredevil kind of earned his reputation as a devil, but more so it's like kind of a combination. Oddly enough, this can sound like a weird comparison. It's kind of a combination of the legends being built behind Daredevil and a Kingpin from Daredevil, but applied to the Purple Man. It's like this idea of there's this. He's being thought of as kind of this excuse among people who's writing it off like, oh, okay, this devil, like they're treating him as like, okay, the devil made me do it type thing, as Jesse went into her whole thing about.
Yeah, I could see that.
But at the same time, it establishes this legend, this build around it, like the Kingpin. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of the old adage mixed with the perception, mixed with like, okay, is it real? Obviously, he's real. And the idea I'm mainly getting at here is that Kilgrave does work a lot like the devil. He's pretty much the devil in the series. He's just he tells people to do things, and they do terrible things, and they can never be proved technically. They're going to say, "Well, the devil made me do it." What are you going to say? Kilgrave made me do it. It's very similar. I think it's a really interesting idea. Again, kind of piggybacking on Daredevil and their questions of what a devil is.
Sure.
And here, think about the progression there. We start off with the show. It's like examining what a devil is and what evil is. Of course, we see a Kingpin. It's not exactly clear cut. With Kilgrave, seemingly at first, it's very clean cut. It's very, this man embodies just evil. Like something whispers in your ear and tells you to make a bad decision. And there's nothing you can do to stop it, and you will have lasting results, and you will live with those decisions. But of course, the big question is the last thing to end on with this segment.
Sure.
The big question we're going to be asking ourselves with the Kilgrave, and it's going to be a lot of examination into it, is that, with hypnosis, there's always that old adage of you will never do anything under hypnosis you were not willing to do yourself. Mm-hmm. So there's a question of how much of it is Kilgrave's command, how much of that, if there's a piece of that of yourself just saying you're willing to do that, you would allow yourself to go that far.
Right.
And there's evidence to support both sides of that. If you'll see, especially with Jessica Jones, there's evidence to support both sides of if it's in your character, if it's not in your character, to do the horrible things.
Yeah, it's just kind of like one of the many moral quandaries that the show brings up. That kind of is, I think the moral stuff is kind of like, I think Daredevil is altogether kind of a tighter storytelling and tighter characters.
It's like, I think Daredevil has more distinct episodes than Jessica Jones.
I think Jessica Jones has a few distinct episodes.
Well, I'm saying, I think, don't get me wrong, I mean, of course there are, I think Jessica Jones, it ties more into each other than Daredevil does. I think Daredevil, don't get me wrong, in the end, Daredevil does link up really well.
What I'm trying to say, though, is that Jessica Jones, I think the strength that Jessica has over Daredevil is just kind of like these big moral quandaries and dilemmas that it presents. And don't get me wrong, Daredevil kind of presented that too, but I think this show, like, it's just really kind of a thinking person superhero show in a lot of ways. It's
like Daredevil feels like mini movies. This feels like a long stream narrative. This feels like a big movie with high points, which would be the standout episodes. But I mean, this show it feels so interconnected. Like this is a huge masterwork in front of you. But Daredevil just feels like it's like an adventure every time you tune in.
Sure. Okay, so I guess with that in mind, let's go to the last call, folks. Last call, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let that purple man ice cube slip into the glass. All right. All right.
So I thought this was a great stakes establishing episode, just showing you what the Purple Man is capable of and how close you can be to him, and just of course just see how many lives you can ruin just in the course of a radio broadcast, I should say.
Yeah, this is definitely the one that really, really got me hooked in. Like, I was drawn in right away with this show by the neo-noir elements and everything like that, but in terms of, like, the plot and the villains and everything like that, this is the episode that really hooked me. This is the episode where I was like, okay, yeah, some serious shit's going to go down.
This was your bags in the river, right?
Pretty much, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I was into the show before that. You know, I was pretty much into the show from the get-go, but this was really kind of the episode that made me. And like we said, we're still kind of having this whole debate of this versus Daredevil. I do think Daredevil very much is the stronger show overall, but this is the episode that really kind of like showcased in a lot of different ways just how different Jessica Jones could be from the back.
Yeah, it's like a difference of that. You know, to me, Daredevil's perfect. I think Daredevil, in my opinion, just my opinion. I think it's flawless and it's perfect on every level. Jessica Jones, I think, is very ambitious, and I love what it gets right. And of course, there are like a few, like even the stuff it gets a little wrong in my case. I don't think it's bad. I think it's not my taste.
Sure.
And I don't think it hurts the overall story. I think the overall story gets communicated very well, and what it gets right, it gets fantastically right. But again, those few sticking points just make me say it's not all around perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Which isn't a problem. It means it's different.
Okay, so
But
I think
yeah, we get to see what Jessica Jones is going up against. And we see the cost of the hero's lifestyle this episode. That's what I really liked about this one in particular.
okay, I think that'll about do it then.
Yeah.
All right, well, folks, you heard it. Last call, which means we've been cut off. But as we finish our Marvel brand this evening, we polish off the next bottle of Jessica Jones. We take a moment to toast on another fine Netflix miniseries. Oh,
I'll drink to that.
Jessica!
Sweet Christmas.
I really miss your red hair.